What if I told you that in today's society, ignorance isn't just tolerated, it's rewarded? That being loud, superficial, and unapologetically shallow has somehow become a shortcut to popularity, influence, and even leadership. Think about it. When was the last time deep reflection went viral? When did thoughtful nuance become a trending hashtag? We live in an age where the emptiest voices dominate the stage, where 15-second clips grab more attention than entire books, and where millions consume content that demands nothing of them. Not thought, not reflection, not even curiosity. This isn't just a passing fad, it's a structural transformation, a cultural machine designed to elevate distraction over depth, entertainment over wisdom. Memes now replace reasoned discussion. Catchy slogans overshadow critical debate, and quick emotional reactions spread faster than careful analysis ever could. Public discourse was once about argument, dissent, and wrestling with difficult ideas. Today, it's a contest of sound bites, viral dances, and meme wars. We scroll past philosophy lectures to watch pranks. We skip expert explanations for trending audio. And here's the unsettling part. This shift isn't accidental. Modern culture doesn't just reflect what we value, it reshapes what we value. What we watch, who we follow, and what we reward all send us a message. That being likable matters more than being informed. That emotion beats logic, and that being shallow is often more profitable than being serious. The algorithm doesn't care about truth. It cares about engagement. And the outcome? A generation trained not to think, but to react. Not to question, but to consume. Over time, this rewires what we find important, what we admire, and ultimately who we choose to listen to. Some may say, it's just entertainment, just harmless fun. But here's the catch. When the rewards favor ignorance, ignorance becomes a strategy. People realize quickly that simplifying, exaggerating, or even pretending to be clueless can become a successful brand. YouTube thumbnails scream with exaggerated expressions. Politicians speak in catchphrases instead of policies. Viral posts sacrifice accuracy for volume. The result? Complexity looks boring, while intelligence feels elitist. Ask yourself, when did we begin confusing noise with wisdom? When did visibility replace value? The reality is sobering. We now live in a system that doesn't simply allow ignorance. It commercializes it, promotes it, and glamorizes it. But it gets darker. In today's world, ignorance isn't just accepted, it's engineered. The dumb but successful persona isn't an accident. It's a calculated performance. It's designed to appear relatable, entertaining, and safe. And the rewards? Followers, sponsorships, money, even power. In an economy where attention is the ultimate currency, playing dumb has become a business strategy. Look around. Those dominating the spotlight are rarely the most thoughtful. They're the most outrageous. Shock value beats substance every single time. Controversy, not competence, drives clicks. And behind the curtain, authenticity has lost its value. Why develop wisdom when exaggeration pays better? Why wrestle with ideas when noise spreads faster? We've created a digital ecosystem where the smartest thing to do is often to act stupid, and millions are catching on. This fuels an even deeper issue: anti-intellectualism. We don't just ignore intellectuals anymore, we distrust them. Experts are dismissed as elitist. Scientists are mocked as out of touch. Thinkers are sidelined for being too serious. The war on depth is silent but relentless. It's waged through memes, viral trends, and sarcastic reels. Social media is the battlefield, and the rules are clear. Immediacy beats reflection, emotion beats evidence. A 15-second conspiracy spreads faster than a 50-page peer-reviewed study. Why? Because truth takes effort, but lies are easy. And in a dopamine-driven culture, easy always wins. We've built a system that punishes complexity and rewards simplicity, no matter how harmful that simplicity may be. We're not just dumbing down, we're monetizing stupidity. Everywhere you look, fake lifestyles, staged drama, manufactured personas, the shallow get rewarded, while thinkers and educators are drowned out as too slow or too boring. So ask yourself, when did we start rewarding people for knowing less? When did ignorance become appealing? The terrifying truth is that we've taught an entire generation that it's not what you know that matters. It's how entertaining your ignorance looks online. And once stupidity becomes a brand, a product, and a badge of honor, truth no longer has a place in the spotlight. But why does shallow content thrive so powerfully? Why does it feel irresistible to scroll past the serious and dive into the silly, the sensational, the superficial? The answer isn't only cultural, it's psychological. In a world that feels chaotic and overwhelming, simplicity offers relief. Life is complex. Unstable economies, global crises, personal struggles. In the middle of that storm, shallow content feels comforting. A quick laugh, a 10-second video, a meme that confirms what we already think. These don't challenge us, they soothe us. Psychologists call this the fluency effect. The easier something is to process, the more likely we are to trust it. Our brains reward simplicity, not because it's accurate, but because it feels good. And in an age of constant information overload, anything complicated feels like friction, so we avoid it. Without realizing, we choose what's effortless. We joke instead of reflect. We react instead of pause. Slowly, we lose our appetite for depth. Humor becomes a shield. Irony becomes a substitute for insight. Depth feels like a burden. It's not that we don't care, it's that we're tired. And shallow content? It's quick, light, and painless. But biology also plays a role. Shallow content hits the brain like fast food. Quick, salty, addictive. Every swipe, every like, every notification pumps dopamine into our system. And like junk food, the more we consume, the more we crave. Long essays feel like a mountain. Documentaries feel like chores. And the algorithm knows it. So it feeds us what's easy, not what's meaningful. This is the trap. A culture seduced by simplicity, addicted to speed, and trained to avoid effort. Not because we're lazy, but because the system taught us that shallow is safer, faster, and more rewarding. That's the most dangerous lesson of all. And let's be clear, this isn't just about personal choice. Millions didn't simultaneously decide to abandon depth. The system was designed to steer us there. Algorithms don't care about wisdom, only about screen time. They prioritize outrage, envy, and laughter, whatever keeps us scrolling. Attention is money, and ignorance packaged the right way is incredibly profitable. The entertainment industry isn't built to uplift, it's built to monetize. Fake feuds between influencers drive more views than Nobel lectures. Drama outperforms documentaries. False but loud tweets spread further than careful truths. Because chaos sells, outrage sells, and ignorance, when made entertaining, is good business. Even news media isn't immune. Speed trumps accuracy. Drama beats depth. Headlines flatten complexity into simple conflict. Politicians who perform outrage get more coverage than those who offer solutions. Governance itself now looks more like content creation. That even the louder the message, the bigger the reach. So before we blame individuals, we must understand the larger system. We are living inside a machine that rewards our worst instincts, exploits our psychology, and profits from distraction. The glorification of ignorance wasn't a mistake. It was engineered. And what happens when ignorance is rewarded, depth is punished, and society is trained to crave simplicity? The consequences aren't small. They're civilizational. A generation grows up believing that asking hard questions is boring, that depth is elitist, that wisdom is irrelevant. Meanwhile, education systems, once meant to cultivate thought, are under attack. Philosophy, history, ethics, Disciplines that train the mind are cut or dismissed as impractical. Students are told to chase money, not meaning, and we wonder why they feel lost. At the same time, our heroes have changed. We idolize people famous for being famous. We reward influencers who sell attention, not understanding. And slowly, thinkers retreat into silence. Intellectual voices get buried. But here's the cost. Without wisdom in the conversation, we can't solve real problems. Climate change, public health, political division, these demand patience, nuance, and uncomfortable truths. How can a society solve anything if it's been trained to reject wisdom and distrust complexity? This is how societies drift off course. Not through one big collapse, but through countless small choices that elevate ease over effort, surface over substance. Until one day we realize those leading us don't even understand the problems they face. Citizens stop trusting the experts who do, and institutions lose meaning because we stopped believing thought mattered. If this continues, the future won't belong to the wisest. It will belong to whoever shouts the loudest. And yet, something else is happening. Beneath the noise, not everyone is giving in. A quiet resistance is rising. It's not trending, but it's real. People, especially younger generations, are questioning the system. They're unplugging, practicing digital minimalism, reading again, writing by hand, choosing depth over dopamine. Long-form content is making a comeback. Hours-long podcasts with thinkers like Lex Fridman or Andrew Huberman are drawing millions. They're not flashy, not viral, just thoughtful conversations, and people are listening. Education, too, is reinventing itself outside mainstream institutions. Philosophy, critical thinking, and classic texts are quietly returning. Even self-help is evolving. Beyond the loudest voices promising hacks and dopamine tricks, a quieter movement grows. People are journaling, practicing stoicism, meditating, not for productivity, but for clarity. They're chasing meaning, not likes. These aren't revolutions with banners. They're revolutions of the mind. Quiet, deliberate, invisible to algorithms, but powerful. Proof that not everyone is willing to drown in the shallow end of culture. So, what do you do when the world around you celebrates the shallow? When ignorance is marketable and depth feels like exile? You don't outshout the chaos. You don't fight distraction with more noise. You choose a different path, the slower, harder, but more real one. It starts with you. Ask yourself, are you thinking or just reacting? Seeking truth or just validation? Are you willing to be uncomfortable, intellectually, not emotionally? Growth doesn't happen inside echo chambers. It happens when you allow your ideas to be challenged. Then it moves to your habits. Read longer than you usually would. Watch something that stretches you. Share something not because it's popular, but because it's true. Feed your mind substance, not just stimulation. Next, community. Find people who value meaning over memes. Build spaces where disagreement is welcomed, where curiosity matters more than certainty, where saying, "I don't know," is not weakness but honesty. And above all, don't play dumb to fit in. Don't minimize your intelligence just to be accepted. The world doesn't need more staged ignorance. It needs people willing to stay awake. People willing to risk being misunderstood in order to speak truth. Because culture doesn't change overnight. It changes through small choices, one mind at a time. And maybe, if enough of us choose differently, depth won't just survive, it will thrive again.